Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is hit. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Check out all things 93.7 The Ticket at theticketfm.com, the social medias, wherever you get your podcasts, the Tube of You, YouTube, also Carriker Chronicles, carrikerchronicles.com. The Tube of You, YouTube. Just simply type in Carriker Chronicles as well. We got a loaded show. I know. Shocker. The Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. You're going to hear Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. I warned Jake. I said I did my typical deep dive into these NFL playoff games, and I'm excited to do that at the back half of the show. We're going to talk about there is something that Dylan Raiola absolutely needs to learn. I had a conversation with former All-American Nebraska quarterback Steve Taylor. By the way, join him noon to 1 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays. And if you weren't aware yet, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, join me noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. And we're going to have a whole lot of fun together. But he was like, man, I see all these NFL quarterbacks running around. And how is that safe? And, you know, he wasn't knocking it, but it was like, man, the game has changed so much. And of the 8 quarterbacks left in the NFL playoffs, 7 of them would be considered dual threat, okay, or mobile athletic type quarterbacks. I didn't look it up. That has to be the highest percentage in the history of the NFL with this amount of teams remaining. It's crazy. 7 of the 8 remaining starting quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford aside, are all what you would consider mobile running quarterbacks that can beat you with your arms or your legs. And yes, that includes guys like Josh Allen, obviously, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, man, have you watched them though? They know how to, like Lamar doesn't take on a ton of hits. He will run out of bounds at the appropriate time. He will slide. He will get down. Jaden Daniels will take on a few more hits. Okay, and then I brought up Baker Mayfield. That guy's just a bowling ball, but he's also not left in the playoffs. But my point is, like, knowing when to slide, knowing how to protect yourself, Lamar Jackson ran the ball 11 times in the first quarter. That's craziness. He's not a big dude. But that's craziness in the NFL. Every hit, every tackle in the NFL is like a small car crash. But yet, here he is. 2-time NFL MVP. I think he should win it again. Statistically, he's had his best season ever. Just won a playoff game. Going to go play the Bills. That's going to be an exciting game. But there's things Dylan Raiola can learn from them. And that kind of occurred to me through this conversation I had with Steve and Taylor yesterday. We're going to just discuss that a little bit. Carriker's Trivia Challenge is back. Ladies and gentlemen, give him the number to call Jake. All you have to do is call this number. Go ahead, Jake.
402-464-5685.
Now, you will come on air, and we will do you will answer 3 questions. I will answer 3 questions, but all you really have to do is call in. You're still going to win the prize. You just get to, go head to head against for yours truly, just for some fun. It's a $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. They are located at 2040 Southwest 5th Street here in Lincoln. The first person to call in, you win your prize. You've already won the prize. But the ultimate prize is getting to take on yours truly. Contrary to what Jake says, I am 6-2 on the season. I'm not an SEC team that lost 3 games and still wants to get in the playoff. I'm at 2 losses. There is no playoff for me, but we're going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. Okay. A couple of things before then. I thought this was fun, especially since I got kids. Whatever you do today, do it with the confidence of a 4-year-old in a Batman shirt. That's some real confidence right there, Jake. All right. And the SEC teams have been shut out of the College Football National Championship game 2 years in a row now, but the SEC still found their way into the title game. SEC officiating crew assigned to the National Championship game. The SEC just couldn't stay away, had to butt their nose in versus Notre Dame and Ohio State in the National Championship. You probably saw this, but I thought it was worth mentioning anyways, because there's all sorts of, like, is Deion going to go to the Cowboys? The Raiders are not interested. The Cowboys are. What happens there? The Chicago Bears want to interview Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman. Here's the deal. If I'm Notre Dame and I'm going to make $15, $20 million to play this national championship game and we keep it all to ourselves, unlike Ohio State, who's going to walk away with 1.8, not too shabby, but they're going to disperse it amongst the Big Ten teams. Hey, I'm throwing a whole lot of moolah Marcus's way. Like, that is your guy. That is your man right there. You need to keep him at all costs, literally. And I think some people know this. I don't know if everybody does, but Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach, playing Ohio State in the national championship game, actually played at Ohio State, was a team captain from 2006 to 2008. I'm looking at a picture right now. It's him, a much younger Marcus Freeman, number 1, I might add, with James Laurinaitis, my former teammate from the St. Louis Rams, 2-time All-American linebacker. All right, I believe we played about 10 years in the NFL. And if you remember Mike Doss, the old safety for Ohio State, I remember him. He was an All-American. I remember his press conference after his junior year where he announced he was coming back for his senior year. Okay, and he was actually, there was a lot of tears shed. Highly emotional for him to come back to Ohio State. Marcus was obviously one of their key players because those other 2 dudes are studs. Marcus was a stud, team captain. So I think that'll be, just an intriguing storyline for Notre Dame. And they go to play Ohio State. Their head coach was a former Ohio State Buckeye. The NFL playoffs, like I've gotten fully into them. Some blowouts, but some highly entertaining games. When you think about, especially like the Bucks and Commanders and games like that, to me, that's highly entertaining. And there's been a lot of blowouts. I didn't hate the 1 and 2 seeds getting the seed because getting a first round bye, I should say, because the 2 seed playing the 7 seed. I always felt like it's more TV, it's more revenue, but I always felt like it was unnecessary. But it is what it is. But there has been some good games. I can't wait to watch the Ravens and the Bills. Like, to me, there's 5 teams in the NFL that are legit Super Bowl, like, winning team type contenders. Lions, Eagles in the NFC, and obviously any of the 4 teams that are left can win, especially if they get hot at the right time. But as far as outside of just getting hot at the right time, being good enough to win, those are the 2 teams from the NFC. From the AFC, you got the Chiefs, you got the Bills, you got the Ravens. You got 2 guys that are probably finalists for the NFL MVP, and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. That's going to be a great game this weekend. And I'm going to go through all the NFL games at the end of this show, NFL playoff games so far at the end of this show, at least from this past weekend. But, man, the Vikings, I forget what the final score was, something like 37-9 last night or something. It was 24-3 at halftime, and I kind of quit paying that much of close attention. Turn it over to Monday Night Raw, if I'm being honest with you. It's on Netflix if you're interested. But the Vikings go 14-3. We live Like, the NFL is built so that you can win 14 games and it doesn't matter. That's okay. It's the NFL. That's what I'm trying to avoid in college football, but that's a topic for another day. But you can win 14 games in the NFL. It doesn't matter. You can lose 7 like the Rams, and you're 1 game away from playing for the Super Bowl. It's about getting hot at the right time. But the Vikings, man, 31-9, they lost to the Detroit Lions with the number 1 seed on the line. Lose that, become the number 5 seed, play the Rams. And I forgot to do my prediction for this game yesterday. So you can call BS if you'd like, but I had written down Rams over Vikings simply because I don't think the Vikings are that good. I didn't say it yesterday, so don't give me credit for it, but I did think the Rams were going to beat the Vikings. I did not predict the score to be what it was. I thought it would actually be pretty competitive, come down to the end. I was wrong on that, but the Vikings have been outscored by 50 points. Their average margin of, or combined total loss in points-wise, easy for me to say, has been 50 points the last 2 games between the Lions and the Rams. 68-18, they've been outscored. Before I dive into some of these NFL games as the show gets going down the road, I just thought this was kind of interesting. Like I mentioned, the Rams lost 31-9, 37-9. Okay, their last 2 games. But yes, I do root for the Commanders. I very much enjoyed my time in D.C. I have a lot of fond memories there. But I was sent this from a Commanders fan. And they're also a Capitals fan. I think they're actually, knowing this person, they're more of a hockey fan than NFL. But Alex Ovechkin, one of the greats in NHL history, has scored 848 goals since the Commanders' last playoff win in 2005. I was like, wow, that is interesting and horrifying all at the same time if you're a Commanders fan. Okay, before I dive into what Dylan Raiola can learn, we discussed this briefly on the show yesterday. Dion reaching out to the Raiders. The Raiders reportedly, we'll see what happens, have no interest in Dion being the head coach. But there are strong rumors, I'm sure you're aware now. All right, Mike McCarthy's out in Dallas, but there are strong rumors tying Dion to the Cowboys. If you're an NFL fan, and this were to happen, this is like a dream come true. The most talked about franchise in all sports, I would say the Cowboys, arguably the Yankees, I don't know, the Lakers, especially with LeBron there. Easily one of the top 3 most talked about franchises in all of pro sports, the Cowboys. And probably the most talked about head coach, maybe him or Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders, if they become one and the same, if he becomes their head coach, that is an NFL fan's dream. Personally, I want him to stay at Colorado. I want him in college football. He's better for college football. He makes college football more exciting. I want to see what he can do at Colorado without Shedeur and without Travis. What can he genuinely build there? And I would even argue that he's good for college kids. Because he told his players, and I quote, "When you stop going to class and I see a multitude of F's and D's, we going to affect your check," end quote. Like, I think he is truly good for mentoring. That's a quote that he told his players, okay, earlier this year. He's truly good for mentoring, obviously, young football players, but just young men at a collegiate level as well. All right. Last thoughts before we dive into what Dylan can learn. Nebraska baseball, defending Big Ten champs. Maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. Preseason number 24 ranked in the country. All right, expected to once again be one of the better teams in the Big Ten. As I look at this, there is not a ton of Big Ten teams in the preseason college baseball top 25. In fact, the only one that I can see right off the top, unless I'm missing somebody, is Nebraska. Tends to be a lot of teams. Oh, I see is Oregon up here. Yep, Oregon's at 12. I forget they're in the Big Ten. I'm still getting used to that. A lot of Southern teams, though. All right. And when you look at softball, we got a top 25 softball team, at least in the preseason rankings. They're number 21 in the country. Is our softball team. Jordy Ball is a preseason All-American. I'm excited to see what she can do. Obviously, she hurt her knee, tore the ACL. She's been coming back from that. I'm excited to see what she can do. I'm not the only one. And I think it's going to be a fun softball season. Excited to watch baseball when it rolls around. You got men's basketball, talked about that yesterday. Women's basketball is on a 3-game win streak. So Husker sports as an overall whole are on a rise. So when it comes to Dylan Raiola, and Jake, I want to get your thoughts on this. All right. Like, learn, it's so crazy that this is a thing. But I remember being in D.C. My locker was right next to London Fletcher and Robert, our RG3. We're all 3 right next to each other. And I remember when Robert was a rookie. He was running around practice like crazy. Like he was trying to run people over. We're like, hey, dude, you got a green jersey on. Just chill unless you want to take it off. He screamed at us, I'll take it off any day. And I was like, all right, let's do it. We never did that. But he kept the same mentality in games. And he did not slide. He did not run out of bounds. He was taking on anybody, anytime, anywhere, which is something you can respect, but he was like 205 pounds. You're a franchise quarterback. The NFL, it's different. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. All right. You are the franchise quarterback. I looked at him one day. I'm like, if you get hurt, I'm going to kill you. That's exactly what I said to him. Obviously, I didn't mean it literally, but I was pretty serious and like, can you be smarter about how you're running around? Because that's really when the read option was first coming into the NFL. Remember, he was the NFC, I think he was the NFL Rookie of the Year. He kind of set the league on fire. We won our last 7 games, started out 3-6, won our last 7 games, won the NFC East, beat the Cowboys Sunday Night Football, Week 17 to win the division, get home field in the first round of the playoffs. And he just kept running around in the games and would not slide, would not be smart, and was just, I respected it, but I hated it because he wasn't protecting himself, and he wasn't a big dude, and he just wouldn't listen to anybody. And we even tried to set him up with a Nationals baseball coach, the Washington Nationals pro baseball team out there, so they could teach him how to slide. I actually saw him try to slide one time. I've never seen, he's one of the most athletic human beings I've ever seen in my life. One of the most god-awful, ugly slides I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't understand how such an athletic guy couldn't slide. But he never played baseball. I grew up playing baseball, sliding from, I don't know, sliding's pretty easy for me, I guess, but I did it ever since T-ball when I was little. So for me, learning how to slide is apparently not easy to do if you didn't play baseball when you were young. It's apparently an art form. For me, I just kind of took these things for granted, being a baseball player growing up. But learning how to slide is a way to protect yourself as a quarterback. You can do the old, what was it, Kenny Pickett? He did it at Pitt. He did the fake slide, and then he got up and kept going. That's dirty. That should be illegal. If you're going to tell defensive players, and luckily nobody's done it since, or I'd make a bigger stink out of this. If you're going to tell defensive players, you can't hit that guy when he slides, you can't be doing a fake slide because now I'm stopping because I can't hit you, and you're taking advantage of it. But again, I haven't seen anybody do it since, so I'll let that lie. But learning how to slide, watch these guys. Watch Lamar Jackson specifically. He does it really well. Jaden Daniels is a little bit more, I guess, willing to take on contact, or young guy not smart enough to learn how to avoid it is another way to look at it, depending on how you want to see it. You got to keep in mind. I played in St. Louis with guys like Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. These were receivers who would get the ball and run out of bounds. That blew my mind. I'm a Nebraska guy, blue collar, in your face, smash mouth, option, double teams all day. Bruises are badges of honor. Like, that was me. That was my first introduction to the NFL, and I was like, dude, these guys are Super Bowl champs, Hall of Famers, and why are they avoiding physical contact? That blew my mind. So for me, it was a culture shock within the football culture that I was now being introduced to in the NFL, because now it's about longevity. It's about being healthy. It's about your career. It's about being there the next week to help your team. You're also playing way more games back then. What I'm getting at is Dylan Raiola needs to learn when to slide after you've got the first down, not before. He needs to learn how to slide. He needs to learn how to protect himself. If teams are just going to play man-to-man and say, we're going to lock down your receivers, we don't care if our second and third level defenders' backs are to you, feel free to take off, which several teams did that, and then he started to take off, then you've got to be willing, when appropriate, to fight for that extra yard, which is learning when to fight for it, when to be smart with your body, and then when it is time to lower the shoulder, how do you do that? Okay, let's be smart about it. But when you slide, how do you do that appropriately? Because Steve, when I spoke with Steve Taylor yesterday, he was just like, man, it's crazy to me that they're doing this. And I'm like, watch them. Watch these guys in these playoff games. Watch them. They are very smart with their bodies. They'll run out of bounds at the appropriate time. Every once in a while, like I saw Jaden Daniels with the game on the line, lower his shoulder, but I didn't see him do it much the rest of the game against the Bucs. Okay, and watch them. They all know how to slide, which apparently isn't as easy as I thought it was when I was little. But this is such a simple skill that is apparently not so simple, and that's okay. Everybody's different. There's things I didn't grow up doing that I'm pretty awful at today. All right, but it's an important skill for a quarterback. How, when, And how does this become one of my tools that I can use that can help make me a more dynamic runner? Because you're going to know how to take care of yourself, which means you're more likely to run. You're more likely to take advantage of what the defense is going to give you. And now it's more of an issue for the defense, and you're going to be healthy, and you're going to be an asset, and you're going to be ready for the next play. And it's something the defenses have to be concerned about. Did I kind of explain that all fairly well there, Jake?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it is definitely a skill that you have to learn in modern day college football. It does make you wonder. I know it's all about protecting the quarterback, but if you were really to open up the field, then the quarterbacks shouldn't be allowed to slide. They should, take the hits. That should be part of the game in my mind. If you're going to, run the ball and get those yards, that's going to be part of it is taking a lick. But specifically for what we've got going on, now, that is something that Dylan has to work on. And I think, they between Holgerson and him, they kind of said working on his body but that's just a big part of it. It's the escapability in the pocket, all that sort of stuff that can unlock the next level of his game. But yeah, sliding has to be second nature, because if you're doing that, that's why I kind of brought it up, is that you can take a much worse hit sliding if you're not doing it well or you don't time it well than just taking a normal contact tackle.
Yeah, look at the Boston College game. I mean, that's a perfect example of an ill-timed slide. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things that it was interesting just in conversation with Steve yesterday, and watching Dylan struggle with this, when to slide, how to slide. The timing of the slide was honestly his bigger issue. Robert just flat out didn't know how to slide and refused to, other than the one time I saw him try to do it. And it's like, man, this is a very basic skill that I feel like we could teach these kids and they'd instantly be better for it. They're going to be safer. They're going to be more of a headache for defenses. And I feel like if they could just get better at this one thing, it wouldn't take much time. I think it actually would be something that would actually make a difference in the game, as silly as that sounds. All right. Let's see what else we got here before we head to break. Oh, LAVONTE David. I actually saw this on social media, and then I said something about it. To me, he is the most underrated player in the NFL. He's the longest tenured Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He two-time All-American here at Nebraska. He had over 100 tackles again this year. I feel like he's hardly ever talked about. This is a guy, and what I saw was one day when he retires, whenever that is, he should go in the NFL Hall of Fame. Okay? And honestly, it hadn't even occurred to me. And I don't know. He probably has more years left in him. Not saying he doesn't. But sometimes certain guys get overlooked. Like Ray Lewis, you watch him lead the Ravens onto the field for their playoff game last weekend. The dude's electrifying. Okay? He's got all sorts of juice. He's exciting to watch. Statistically, London Fletcher has better career stats. He just does. But he's much more quiet, so he flies under the radar. So for me, when you look at LAVONTE, we're talking about a Super Bowl champion, first-team All-Pro, multi-time Pro Bowler, made the All-Rookie team, two-time All-American. I mean, you look at college, Big Ten Linebacker of the Year, Big 12 Defensive Newcomer of the Year, two-time first-team All-Big 10. But you look at the NFL again, 1,572 tackles, almost 40 sacks, 31 forced fumbles, 69 pass deflections, 13 interceptions, 3 defensive touchdowns, 19 fumble recoveries. I think I said it, but 31 forced fumbles. This is a guy, whenever it's all said and done, he's not only a Husker legend. I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. Keep an eye out for that on the interwebs. But he's a guy who, whenever it's all said and done for him and he retires, should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. In my humble opinion, I just bring it up because I hope he doesn't get overlooked, because I think he's the most underrated player in the NFL right now. And this was actually prompted also. Somebody sent me something about Roger Craig should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Roger Craig has multiple stats where he's the only guy in the history of the NFL to ever do these things, whether it's running, catching, things he's done in the Super Bowl, the playoffs, another Nebraska legend. And so that's another name that could be brought up. But what are your thoughts on that there, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating as a Nebraska fan to sit back and watch him not get his due more often than not, right? I think he's had a few Pro Bowls, one All-Pro selection, but it's just consistently. And sometimes I think that you'll get more recognition for being consistent, right? I think, at the end of your career, we can kind of look back at certain guys that have certainly done that. Frank Gore at running back certainly stands out. I think maybe is remembered even better than he was, because I don't know if he was ever a top 5 running back, right? And I think that's where LAVONTE kind of factors in. He's probably always a top 10 NFL linebacker, but is he ever a top 3? Or like you said, the most flashy? No. So it is frustrating. I don't think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer just because of that sort of stuff. But I do think, I at least hope, and it could be another Roger Craig situation you brought up, but I hope he gets in.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget. What's the number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Carriker's Trivia Challenge is back. Call that number. Claim your prize. We'll bring you on air. We'll do a little trivia challenge. Have a whole lot of fun. One more time, Jake.
402-464-5685.
Never changes. Number always stays the same. I just like having Jake say it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead. Sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solution offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit LOVBOMA.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PVA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. This segment is brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker, open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full delicious slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible size. Ladies and gentlemen, get fueled for your lunch today and or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. All right, we have a contestant on the phone, but before we do, this was sent to me. All right, Andy Jurassic strikes again. The NCAA rule on fake slides that states when a ball carrier fakes a feet-first slide, the play is dead and the ball carrier is considered down. This rule is known as the Kenny Pickett rule. One of my new favorite rules. We also need to fix that rule where if you're going in to score, you fumble the ball through the back of the end zone, it's a touchback for the other team. How dumb is that rule? Targeting as well. Whole plethora of things to talk about this offseason, but let's do a little bit of Carriker's Trivia Challenge. Who we got, Jake?
All right, we've got Lee calling in. Lee, are you ready to go today?
I am.
All right, we're going to get some get a nice little music going. Of course, you don't have to be a genius to win this game. You just got to outsmart
smarter than the average dumb guy, I guess.
There you go. That's right.
Our new show's motto. New motto.
We'll get some game show music going just so we feel like we're kind of in spirit. Lee, we'll start off with you, and we just have some either-or questions. And if you tie Adam, we'll go to the tiebreaker at the end. So this is the history of national champions in college football as we're getting closer and closer to the championship game, but we're going back in history. So you guys are going to hopefully are historians here. Lee, let's start with the year 1890, the first year of Nebraska football. Who was the national champion that year? Was it Harvard or was it Yale?
Yale.
It was actually Harvard.
He said it with confidence, though. I like that. I like it.
Let's go to 1972. Of course, we all know who won in 70 and 71. But 1972, was it Alabama or USC?
Alabama.
It was actually USC. All right, we need to get this one right. Otherwise, you're going to have to hope that Adam does just as bad as you are.
I love the confidence in his voice. Like, stay with it, man. Don't lose that.
All right, Lee, don't give up here. Ohio State will play for their national championship, of course, this year against Notre Dame. When was Ohio State's first title? Was it 1942 or was it 1948?
Let's go with 48.
It was 1942, unfortunately, Lee.
See, a lot of confidence on that last one. That did him in right there. Those are hard, man.
These are tough questions. They're not going to get any easier for Adam, so we'll see.
Yay.
If you both miss all either-or questions, though, I don't know what the likelihood of that is. So we'll see what we get going here. Let's go back to a similar question here. So Fielding Yost was one of the greatest coaches in college football history. He actually spent a year at Nebraska. He ended up winning 6 national titles at Michigan. But in 1898, he did win. He was a coach at Nebraska. In that year, who won the title? Was it Harvard or Yale? By the way, split with Princeton, who's in there as well. Who split with Princeton, Harvard or Yale?
Harvard.
It was Harvard.
Ooh, so the confidence is what did it.
There you go.
I had no idea. I went with the confidence.
Let's go ahead and play this thing out. The year before Nebraska won their first title in 1970, who won in 1969? Was it Ohio State or was it Texas?
Texas.
It was Texas.
I actually knew that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got that one. So there's 2 of them. All right, now, Notre Dame's first title, was it 1903 or 1924?
1903.
It was actually 1924.
I said it with conviction, though.
Yeah. I think Fielding Yost at Michigan might have won in 1903. So there you have it, Adam. You get another win.
I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today.
You betcha. Thanks.
All right, have a great day. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jake, you got anything quick before we dive into the reactions of some of these NFL playoff games from this past weekend?
No, I think that's pretty. I mean, we could go to the tiebreaker. My tiebreaker question was going to be, how many claimed titles does Notre Dame have?
Oh, that's going to be a large number. Claimed?
Claimed
is very different than actual. Go to Wikipedia on some of these claimed nationals. Yeah. There's like teams with 3 losses in a season claim the title. Didn't win their conference, 3 losses. Oh, wait, that's SEC teams right now. Never mind. Let's move on. I just can't leave that dead horse alone, Jake. All right. Some of these I'll move through quickly. Some of these I'm going to dive into a little bit more. You look at the Chargers versus the Texans. I actually thought the Chargers would win this game. Texans pull it out. Mollywop them 32-12. Now, what was interesting in this game? The Chargers actually had the lead 6-0. Texans offense was struggling. But if you go back to the year before, because the Texans had a pick 6 in this game versus the Chargers, the very next possession, they had another interception, didn't take it all the way to the house, got to about the 20 or 30, but led to another touchdown. You go back to the Browns the year before, Joe Flacco. The Browns had the lead. Okay. Joe Flacco throws a pick 6. Very next drive, very next possession for the Browns, another pick 6. It was 2 years in a row of a pick 6, and then the next drive by the opposing quarterback, right, in this case, Herbert, throwing another interception, which led to another touchdown, even though it wasn't a direct pick 6 on the second interception this year. I just couldn't help but notice that coincidence. All right, Broncos versus, well, hold on. I got the Steelers versus the Ravens. Now, the Ravens win 28-14. All right, Mike Tomlin, this dude, when I went up to Pittsburgh and I did all my pre-draft visits, I flew all over the country. The Steelers is one of the places I went to. Roethlisberger was there. By the way, the Steelers facility at the time, I don't know if it still is. I ain't been there since. Halfway, they split it with the Pitt Panthers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Half the facility, it's a big building, half the facility belonged to Pitt at the time. Maybe it's the same, I don't know. The Pittsburgh Panthers, all right, the college team, and the other half was to the Steelers. So that was the first thing that stuck out to me. Ben Roethlisberger was still there. I think the Steelers actually won the Super Bowl. I think it was the very next year. They beat the Cardinals and Larry Fitzgerald, Kurt Warner, all that good stuff. All right. And James Harrison had like the 99-yard pick return for a touchdown. I think he was the MVP of that game. I could be wrong about that part. But when you think about Mike Tomlin, he's been there forever. Won a Super Bowl. Now, it's been a long time. It's kind of gotten to the point where they're going to win. He's had 20 straight winning seasons, but they seem to always lose in the first round of the playoffs, and you're starting to hear rumblings with Steeler fans. Is this good enough? Is this acceptable? Do we want to keep him around? What do we do at this point? So Steeler fans are starting to wonder, have we hit, I don't want to say the ceiling because Tomlin's won a Super Bowl, but it was getting close to a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. So Steeler fans are starting to wonder if Tomlin is the guy they want there in the future. Do you have that clip ready, Jake?
Let me pull it up here.
So we've got a clip from one of the Steeler players after the game Saturday, it was Saturday night versus the Ravens, and he was asked a question. Let me know whenever it's ready, Jake. And Jake says it's ready, and I was surprised, not by the first half of the answer, but by the second half. Go ahead and roll it, Jake.
Where you've been with this offense now for 3 years, have you seen signs of growth, and how much more does this team still need to grow offensively?
Yeah, I've seen signs of growth for sure. From past, the first year I've been here, just way more growth for sure.
Does that make you optimistic going forward?
Nah.
Where you been with this offense?
What? Just nah. I was like, what I heard, I was like, okay, there's some honesty coming out. So we'll see what happens there. Now, the Steelers-Ravens, one of the most storied rivalries in the NFL. Now, before the game Saturday, the Steelers had won 8 of the last 10 meetings versus the Ravens. And Lamar, let me see here. The Steelers actually beat the Ravens a month ago. Okay, but since then, the Steelers had been 0-4. Now they're 0-5. And in those 5 games, including the playoff game last Saturday, never had one lead. How do you play in 5 games in the NFL as a team that had a winning record at the end of the season and a really good record at the time and not have the lead once in your last 5 games? I thought that was crazy. All right. You look at Lamar Jackson. The guy just got his 3rd playoff win. Right? He has as many MVP awards as he does playoff wins before Saturday. 2 MVP awards, 2 playoff wins. After Saturday, he's got 3. This Ravens team, I've either got the Bills or Ravens coming out of the AFC going to the Super Bowl. And I'm a little bit conflicted on who I'm going to pick between the Ravens and Bills. And watch, I'll be wrong because the Chiefs will go for like the 18th time in a row. We'll see what happens. But I think the Ravens or Bills, in my mind, are the favorite to come out of the AFC as far as who I'm going to predict. But this Saturday or this weekend, I forget which day it is, Saturday or Sunday, when the Ravens play the Bills, I'm excited for that playoff game. All right, Lamar Jackson again. Just to remind you, had a phenomenal season, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a 4-to-1 touchdown, actually better than 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He became the all-time NFL leading rusher for quarterbacks this past season. I mentioned this before, but over 4,000 passing yards and over 800 rushing yards, actually over 900, okay, in the same season. The first quarterback to ever do that. He hit 602 rushing yards with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter for his career playoff rushing yards total, which surpassed Steve Young's NFL record for rushing yards by a quarterback in their NFL playoff career. So now Lamar Jackson has more career NFL playoff rushing yards than any other quarterback in history. Derrick Henry's still a beast. All right. Rushed for nearly 200 yards. The Ravens ran the ball for almost 300 yards as a team. You got any final thoughts on the Steelers, the Ravens, or just the Ravens going forward, Jake?
Well, I'm fascinated by that Ravens-Bills match because I think, obviously playoffs and Super Bowl matters a little bit more, but that MVP thing is still lingering out there. And if Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, if the loser of that one wins the MVP, it just further makes you think about what you're doing. But again, it's a regular season award. I think we forget that sometimes, but feels like that. If they match up in the playoffs, just give it to the winner.
I don't hate that. Do you think they should give out? Well, they do give out the MVP. Basically, that they do. The NFL awards are the night before the Super Bowl. But you really, like you mentioned, you kind of know who the MVP is. The voters, anyways, you voted at the end of the regular season. That's not my question. My question is, should they give out the Heisman after the playoffs? Like, let's say we alter the college football playoffs and it actually ends on January 1st. Like I'm going to talk about later in the offseason. I've hinted at towards the past couple of weeks. Should they hand out the Heisman right at the end of the regular season like they have been? Or should they do it after the playoffs are over, after January 1st in the national title game, if we ever get it moved to January 1st?
I don't know. There is something about the element of like the Heisman playing afterwards that's kind of nice. But I think you've got to put in as much games as you can. I mean, maybe if you do it before the Final Four or something like that. And there is. I mean, that's another thing is to talk about these long breaks. You talk about the playoffs and maybe not getting the best ratings that they wanted for those Thursday and Friday matchups. Part of it might be you're taking weeks off here. So I think you could probably fit it in. But if you wanted to get a couple rounds in before the Heisman, I'd like that. Yeah.
At some point, probably when the NFL playoffs are over, I got a whole bunch of tweaks to college football. And it involves starting the college football playoffs like basically the next week after the conference championship games. And then buys actually are an advantage because now you're getting 1 week off to heal, be fresh, instead of getting 23 days off to build up rust. Again, lots of stuff to talk about this offseason. Let's stay on topic. Today, Adam, I'm just going to talk to myself so I can stay on topic. Bills, Broncos, my daughter Dakota. Broncos are a favorite team. Her heart was broken. Unfortunately, I mean, it was, 10-7 at halftime, ended up being 31-7. The Bills scored 28 unanswered points. Now, Bo Nix, if you're a Broncos fan or if you follow the Broncos, he's the first rookie quarter. You got to be excited. He's the first rookie quarterback in Denver franchise history to start a playoff game. Now, technically, all right, John Elway had played in his rookie season in an NFL playoff game, but Bo Nix was the first franchise quarterback in Broncos history to take the first snap, in essence, start his first playoff game as a rookie. All right. Steve DeBurr was a starting quarterback for the Broncos the year that Elway came in later in that game. Just a heads up. Now, Bo Nix finished the season red hot. He had thrown 7 touchdowns in his last 6 quarters of the regular season heading into the playoffs this past Saturday. All right. Now, the Buffalo Bills this season, I thought this was interesting. They're the only team in NFL history to have 30-plus passing touchdowns and 30-plus rushing touchdowns in the same season. All right. Defensively, the Buffalo Bills, they like to play a lot of nickel. Like, to get them out of nickel is kind of hard. They love to play nickel regardless almost what you're in offensive personnel-wise. They probably play nickels much or more than any other team in the league. Basically, 2 linebackers, and an additional DB on the field is what they like to do. Offensively, they also like to run an extra 6 linemen on the field, a lot, something that Jim Harbaugh likes to do. He did it at Stanford. He did it at Michigan. He did it at the Giants. If you watch the Chargers this year, this very much he did it at the Chargers. Just like to get that 6 offensive linemen on the field, an extra blocker, and run the ball, snap the ball really quick, run the ball, and then you get the guy out. The Bills love to do that as much or more than anybody else in the league this year. Now, the Broncos had beaten the Bills on their field a little over a year ago. But in that game, the Bills had 4 turnovers, all right? But during the 2024 season, the regular season, the Bills only had 8 turnovers the entire season. Let me repeat that as a Nebraska guy. The Bills only had 8 total turnovers this past season. That is crazy to me, and it's one of the reasons they've been so good this year. And credit to Josh Allen and their play caller, their offensive coordinator, for putting themselves in good positions so they aren't stressing themselves to have to make the difficult play and helping themselves take care of the ball. Bills running back James Cook tied a franchise record with 16 rushing touchdowns during the regular season. Again, the Bills beat the Broncos 31-7, scored 28 unanswered after it was 10-7 at halftime. All right, and they will be taking on the Ravens this upcoming weekend, and probably the feature matchup of all the NFL playoff games upcoming this Saturday and Sunday. We're going to take a break. When we come back, talk a little Eagles, Packers, the Commanders. I actually chatted with their strength coach this past week. I'm trying to get him to come on. Chad, he was there when I was there. We'll see if we can get him to come on here on the ticket throughout the week, talking to their media guy. Maybe he says yes, maybe he says no. But it kind of struck close to my heart because I still root for that franchise immensely. So Commanders, Bucks, and we'll spend a little bit of time on the Rams, Vikings, but not a ton. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and I got some Nebraska logic that we're going to close the show out with too. This was sent to me by a buddy of mine. Some Nebraska logic. You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Either way, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit LOVBOMA.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Make the 2025 deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 17th through Sunday, January 19th. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the 360 blind giveaway, compete in the Big Buck and Monster Shed contest, try the 3D shoot and more. Get tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 17th through the 19th at the Sand Hills Global Event Center. 84th and Havelock in Lincoln, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Hello, I am Ayanna Blake. Welcome to Mind Your Mind. In this new chapter of our lives, let us focus on the things we can control. This week, I was passing by the television and overheard Mel Robbins talking about her newly released book titled The Let Them Theory. She said, the message with the Let Them Theory is that no matter what's going on outside of you, the power is always inside of you. She went on to say, the two words, let them, are the key to helping you see what's in your control and what's not in your control. Let's take a brief second to acknowledge what we can control. We can't control others. We can't control their actions, beliefs, responses, or lack of. I encourage you to center yourself on things you can control and watch the gift of peace overtake you. I am Ayanna Blake, reminding you to mind your mind. For more inspiration, connect with me on social media or visit AyannaBlake.com. Until next time, take care of your mind and keep moving forward on your pathway to wellness. And remember, let them.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right. Let's put a button on some of these NFL playoff games. Then I'm going to share some Nebraska logic. I think Jake will find it entertaining. What do you think, Jake? You have any idea what it might be?
I do not, but I mean, I'm interested. That's for sure.
All right. Eagles, Packers. Eagles end up pulling away. Actually, close to halftime. Good game, competitive for the first half. Eagles pull away 22-10 in the second half. Now, they've only had 13 wins 3 other times in their franchise history. Twice they lost in the Super Bowl. Once they won in the Super Bowl. This year they had 14 regular season wins. Also, they now play 17 games in a regular season. You watch them, they might be the most well-rounded team in the playoffs. All right, they might be the most well-rounded team in the NFL when it comes to defense, special teams, running the ball, et cetera, et cetera. Arguably, they have the best defense in the NFL. We'll see what happens. They're going to be a fun team to watch going forward. But, Jake, I wanted your take on this. A.J. Brown. I'm sure you saw this. I put it out on social media. All right. And what was the name of the book again? I even forget. Inner Intelligence? I can't read it now that I'm looking at it. I can actually look on my X. But he's reading the book in the middle of the game. I'll look up the title here in a minute, and I'll let you know. But what were your thoughts on this when you saw this, Jake?
Well, I don't mind.
Excellence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind reading a book. I mean, that's always good. But there's probably a time and place for that. Right during the game. I get it. You're not always breaking down what you need to do next. But I don't know. I did not think it was appropriate. I'll put it that way.
I can honestly say I've never seen anything like it, and I was highly entertained by it, and that's why I commented on it on social media. All right, the Commanders. What a game versus the Bucs. Great game. The divisional doink. All right, the game-winning field goal at the end. Doinks off the uprights in. Commanders win at Tampa Bay, 23-20. The Commanders' 12 wins this season was the most they've had since they last won a Super Bowl in 1991. All right, now, when you think about this, the Commanders easily had the worst defense in the NFL just a season ago. They're much improved, adding 8. 8. No transfer portal guys, though. 8 brand new starters on the year this year. Thank you for the smile. Lets me know you got the joke there, Jake. Now, 2 of the starters that remain, former first-round picks, D lineman out of Alabama, Deron Payne, Jared Allen. Let me see here. The Tampa Bay Bucks. I thought this was interesting because I was curious, and the reason I bring up the D-line, I was curious to see how the Commanders were going to counter this because the Bucks love counter plays. All right, in their first 4 games of the year, they only ran counter 4 times. Since then, their counter plays average 9 yards per rush. I think it fits if you learn about their offensive line, what they can do, what their strengths, their weaknesses are, their team as a whole on offense, the personnel on offense. It really fits their personnel, their offensive line, their running backs. They got about 6 or 7 different versions of the counter run play that they like to do. But I thought the Commanders, Payne, Allen, the guys up front, Deron Allen, really played it well. Now, when you talk about the turnaround, okay, Dan Quinn, the new head coach in his first year there with the Commanders, he was at the Falcons. So I don't know if you knew this, Jake, but I actually did a mini camp when I was trying to come back, make it back in the league. I did a mini camp down in Atlanta with the Falcons. At that point, I'd had 2 ankle surgeries, 6 surgeries on my right knee, and 1 on each ankle. I wasn't moving quite the same. So it did not work out, but I got to know and interact with Dan Quinn just a little bit down there. Becomes a Commanders head coach, went from the Falcons to the Cowboys DC. Now he's their head coach. When you look at their defense, they had the biggest improvement in points per game allowed of any team in the entire NFL. They went from averaging, on average, allowing 31 points per game defensively to dropping that by 8 points to 23 points per game. That is a ginormous improvement. Guess what? Offensively, they made quite the improvement as well. They were averaging 19 points per game a year ago. They're now averaging 29 points per game throughout the regular season. So an increase of double digits, 10 points per game more that they're scoring. And let me shock you, they had the largest improvement in the win-loss category, not just in the NFL, but of any team in NFL history from one season to the next. They went from 4-13 in 2023 to 12-5 in 2024. Now, I know Baker Mayfield's kind of a polarizing guy. Personally, I'm a fan of him. And I've always liked him, even in college. I talked about him, I think, the other day on the show about going from walk-on to Heisman Trophy winner, #1 overall pick, to basically an afterthought defensive end scout team for the Panthers, ran out of Cleveland, and he just had a better season this past year than any Cleveland quarterback would have ever had in their franchise history. But if you look since 2023, he has the second most amount of pass yards in the entire NFL, actually only to Jared Goff. Okay, 8,544 passing touchdowns, the most in the NFL since 2023 at 69. Also, the most amount of interceptions in the NFL since 2023 at 26. So he likes to put it out there for anybody to grab. But I can't help but root for a guy like this. And here's what I actually put on X after the game. So happy for the Washington franchise, their first playoff win since 2005. Their fan base is so passionate, wants a winner so badly. I love my time there. And yes, they're the NFL team I still root for. Great win over the Bucks, on to the next round, hashtag NFL playoffs. And it was interesting. Apparently, a lot of people in D.C. saw that, and I got all sorts of responses and comments, and, man, people I hadn't talked to in years, so that was kind of cool. Jaden Daniels and Robert, RG3, actually put this out after the game. I think Jaden Daniels is special, but RG3 actually put this out. Robert put it out, stating that Jaden Daniels is the quarterback the Washington fans have discerned for a long time. And so here's kind of some cool stats on him. All right, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has more playoff. It's a little bit of a dig at Herbert, I guess, but I like Herbert too. It's not meant to be. But Jaden Daniels has more playoff wins than Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. Daniels is a rookie. Herbert's been in the league for 5 years. I'm actually a fan of Herbert, okay? But in NFL history, there have been 3 instances of a team having 0 turnovers and 0 punts in a game behind a rookie starting quarterback. That's regular season or postseason. All 3 of them were by the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Week 2, week 3, and last Saturday night versus the Bucks. And when you talk about a similar stat, career games with 0 punts and 0 turnovers, notable quarterbacks in NFL history, rookie, vets, all time, okay, including the playoffs. Jaden Daniels in his rookie season happened 3 times. Brady, Montana, Manning, Mahomes, twice. Jaden Daniels has more games in his career where his team had 0 punts and 0 turnovers, 3, including playoffs and the combined careers of Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes, all of them combined for 2. To be clear, I'm not saying he's going to be better than them. I do think he's special. But have you ever heard of a stat like that? And how crazy is that to you, Jake?
Just mind-boggling. It's you want to go back and look at it, but I did see that earlier in the season. That's special.
All right. Oh, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the Chargers early. All right. Lade McConkey's 197 yards. 197 yards are the most by a rookie. Okay, receiving yards, most by a rookie in NFL playoff history. I just forgot to mention that earlier. All right, you ready for some Nebraska logic? And then we'll close the show out today, Jake.
Yeah, I'm anxious, waitingly for this. Yeah.
Nebraska beat Rutgers 14-7. Rutgers beat Washington 21-18. This was sent to me by a friend as well. Washington beat Michigan 27-17. Michigan beat Ohio State. You're following this logic here?
Yeah.
Therefore, Nebraska is better than Ohio State. Not just better, but by a combined score of 75-52. Nebraska logic. All right. Want to know why Nebraska is better than Notre Dame?
Yes.
Nebraska beat Colorado. Colorado beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati beat Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio beat Northern Illinois. Oh, now you know where it's going. Northern Illinois has been brought up. And I have the scores of all these games, too. Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame. Therefore, Nebraska is better than Notre Dame. Not just better, but by a combined score of 125-72. Nebraska logic, ladies and gentlemen. It can either make or ruin your day. I prefer to let it make my day. All right, Jake, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh, no, that's all right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in tomorrow. Steve Taylor, former All-American Nebraska quarterback, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. I'll see you fine folks again on Thursday. Until then, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 25th.